The new season of Apex brings us a new character, a new map, and a few undocumented changes, so stay tuned for 24 tips that'll give you an edge in Apex Legends Season 15. Starting off with the biggest Catalyst tip so far is that Catalyst doesn't get affected by enemy Catalyst spikes. You're able to run over the patch of Ferrofluid without activating, damaging, or slowing you. The Anvil receivers are back after 6 whole seasons. This hop-up can be equipped to the R301 and the Flatline, increases semi-auto damage by 2.5 and 2.25 times respectively, and uses 2 ammo per shot with the rate of fire reduced, which gives you a chance to mod them into a long-range weapon. The Anvil is a must-have for the Flatline, but not necessarily as good for the R301. Catalyst's passive allows her to repair doorways and reinforce 2 doorways at a time, with the oldest reinforced doorway disappearing if you go past the limit. A reinforced door needs more punches to be destroyed, but be careful as it will break just the same from an explosion or an ability such as Horizon's ultimate. The Volt received some nerfs to its projectile speed and projectile gravity, making it much worse at range. This, especially with the large open layout of Broken Moon combined with the Anvils making a return, makes the Volt less of an attractive choice compared to the assault rifles in this patch. The new map Broken Moon has these cool zip rails that allow you to rotate around the map at a blazing hot speed, and if you jump off right before hitting the end of the zip rail, you'll keep that momentum and can either bunny hop or slide to keep that momentum going for a little bit longer. The firing range now allows you to pick any legend that you want to try out, even if you don't own the legend. This is perfect if you want to play around with one or learn how their abilities work without having to spend time or money to unlock them early. Catalyst's abilities are color-coded, meaning that friendly Catalyst Ferrofluid will have a bluish stroke around it, and enemy Catalyst Ferrofluid will have a reddish stroke around instead. The Rampage is quite a lot more useful this season, seeing as they removed heat decay, meaning that the Rampage only will lose charge from shooting instead of it slowly running out, and a Rampage fresh from the care package will come fully charged, which is pretty good, but keep in mind that it still tears through thermites and has a finite amount of ammo. The Broken Moon zip rails can be reached with movement abilities at any time. You don't have to go to a specific place to get on top of one, though there are several jump pads and high grounds around the map where you can attach. The Triple Take received a huge buff this season, with Respawn trying to bring it in line with the rest of the Marksman roster, speeding up its fire rate and making its charge time almost twice as fast. This makes it more or less on par with other Marksman rifles and more viable over longer ranges, but it seems like you're probably better off using other Marksman rifles or assault rifles with the Anvil hop-up instead. The zip rails work more or less like normal zip lines, but faster, meaning that you'll have zipline inaccuracy as well. So think twice before starting to trade with someone who's on the ground, and consider dropping off into cover if you're taking too much fire. The point of interest, the Perpetual Core, has a large turbine with a big tower and a hole in the middle, which you can skydive into and then hit the wall to land on the ground more quickly. This gives you a little bit of loot and a vantage point over the point of interest. If you drop into the moving turbine blades, it will launch you upwards and allow you to quickly move forward. This blue glow appears in other places on the map, all with the same movement attributes. Keep in mind that the round 1 pre-shrink time has been increased from 60 seconds to 90 seconds, which gives you more time to loot up at the start of the game and making playing Edge a lot more viable again. By the way, Broken Moon brings back the loot ticks that we initially saw in King's Canyon. There are 4 types of loot ticks, 3 purple ones and 1 golden one, each coming with their own loot table. The golden one wants to give golden or purple items, the first purple tick wants to primarily give a high tier zone item, the second one wants to give a mid tier zone item and a medkit or battery, and the third wants to give a high tier zone attachment. You can't see a difference between these, but these are the loot tables. The Mastiff came out of the care package with a pretty hefty nerf, losing out on its per shot damage and its ease of access. I'd say that while it's fun to see the Mastiff back as ground loot, especially when it comes to balancing the weapons, I'd probably say you'd want to trade it up for either a EVA 8 or Peacekeeper if you have the chance. But getting the Peacekeeper might be quite a bit harder, seeing as it is now in the crafter. Catalyst's ultimate is a great tool to block vision and will help you a lot to deal with unexpected teams, especially ones abusing the scan meta, such as Seer or Bloodhound. But don't rely on it too much or you'll end up getting caught off guard. Despite getting slowed and blinded, enemies can walk through your ultimate, so don't look away from it for too long. Also keep in mind that a Horizon can use their tactical to jump over the Ferrofluid wall, so if you know a Horizon is on the other side, expect them to make a push. The Broken Moon point of interest Bionomic have a few of these buildings, and each and every one of these can be considered god spots. On the inside is a ledge that allows you to dictate how much you want to reveal to enemies on the other side, giving you a really strong adjustable head glitch. What's even better is that you can practically turn a whole 360 degrees around, making these houses perfect in any end games that might end around them. The ping system has received some changes, allowing you to ping if you hear enemy audio, that you want everyone in their team to use their abilities and more, though I'll be honest, I really doubt anyone will use this properly. But stay on the lookout. While Broken Moon only has 16 points of interest, several of these can be split by several teams to get a decent enough amount of loot to either fight each other or to move on. Terraformer allows you to drop on one wing each or in the middle. Atmos Station is very large and spread out, and you can take one partition each. The Divide is self-explanatory. You can drop on one side each of the massive canyon. Alpha Base can be split between the mountain houses and the lunar colony looking things. Breaker Wharf can also be split down the middle, and of course Dry Gulch can be split down the middle as well. By the way, you can climb up onto the high ground on Terraformer right underneath the spinning blades to either hide from enemies underneath or to simply catch them off guard. Just be careful about climbing too high, since then you'll get an out of bounds timer. The R99 received a tiny nerf, adding another bullet to its blue and its purple magazine, which isn't necessarily massive but makes one clipping a little bit more forgiving. Catalyst's Tactical deals a small amount of damage over time and can be angled to spawn and clip through closed doors, which can be useful to do a door outplay when somebody is healing on the other side. The RE45 will be in the care package this season and will absolutely shred at a close range. It will do more damage than the alternator did when it was in the care package at 237 damage per second against shielded enemies versus the alternator's 208. It has the same damage to flesh as a ground loot Volt and Flatline. Thank you Moki Sniper for posting this comparison. On Broken Moon, make sure to be careful around the choke points. There are a lot of them, and each one with the risk of you getting caught in the open if you're not paying attention. There's a lot of different levels and verticality on the new map as well, so make sure to make a mental note of where you are to make sure that you have your teammates and your enemies in your line of sight without getting lost or caught off guard. With this new season, we will see a lot of sneaky plays, so be careful around spots that aren't artificial cover, which means you have to be careful about spots that aren't created by zones or by enemy or friendly teams. With the changes to automatic weapons, alongside with the scout buff, triple take buff, reintroduction of marksman rifles, hop-up changes, and the overall balance changes, as well as the map being so large and open, will probably mean that we're looking at a long range or sniper rifle meta. Make sure that you or a teammate is packing a marksman or sniper rifle to ensure that you have a fighting chance in all conditions. And of course, if you are in a sniper meta, be careful about wasting your bullets or senselessly poking. Make sure to only poke when you know that you can do enough damage to get a knock, or at the very least get some value out of wasting your ammo. Picking up teammates' banners is now a lot less risky, as you will be able to pick up one banner and then cancel the pickup animation by picking up another one. This makes hero plays a little bit easier to do, and as we are in a scan meta, you probably don't want to go for ratting anyways. The Havoc and Devotion received a minor nerf, losing out on 1 damage per bullet if you're equipping a turbocharger, which isn't a huge nerf, and these are still very viable, especially keeping in mind that there are way fewer hop-ups in the loot pool now, meaning that there will be a lot more turbochargers available. Though, as I've always said, do not, under any circumstances, pick up the Devotion. It is hot garbage. Havoc's still overpowered though. And those tips should help you get into the new season faster than other players. If you're interested in a tier list for the Legends this season, make sure to hit the subscribe button. And I'll link it on this screen once the video has been uploaded. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow.